Hey guys, welcome to the Expand to the Cloud brokerage. We're gonna be talking about the icon status. First of all, you already know David Upchurch, still killing it, right? And then you have Chip. We have interviewed him a couple of times, and with eXp Realty, he's in Jersey Shore. So if you need anything in Jersey Shore right now, talk to Chip, right, Chip?
Yeah, we're opening up.
We really wanted to dig into today, really about the Icon Agent Award in eXp Realty. And I think that all of us agree that in the beginning, we really didn't look at that as, as a perk, but as we have capped and became icon status, it has created some unique wealth as unique opportunity for the future to help us grow and help us understand what the company gives us. So everybody has captain here, everybody has icon in here too as well. So we're gonna dig into this a little bit more so that way you could really understand this. And I encourage you to really take a step back, get a second person when you're watching this video, not yourself, and say, hey, let's look at this in a different angle. So I'm gonna talk to Chip first and then we'll go to David. And Chip, icon last year, right? And then you are iconing this year again. And you were with Remax before go ahead, tell me your story. How many years you was with Remax?
We were with Remax for 10 years. So 10 years we were with Remax, we were putting up numbers, or let's say selling homes to the level when the eXp model was presented to us. You start looking at it and saying, wait a second, if I was iconing for the last 10 years, what would I have in future wealth or in equity with the company? Where at Remax, we didn't have any stock that was given back to us. We didn't have a chance to earn back the money that we were sharing with the company or paying on our desk fees or in our splits. Here with eXp, we have the ability to earn that $16,000 back in the production that we were already doing. And now we're getting it in equity in the company, which can only grow.
Yeah. So real quick, let's explain briefly what iconing is, right? So people aren't thinking, oh, well, I can't do that. I don't do the numbers that these guys do. Depending on your price point, right? So somebody, in where I'm from, rural Indiana, it may take a little bit longer. Now that I'm into the Charlotte market, it doesn't take me as long. So for instance, it's anywhere between say 25 and 30, 35 homes. If you're selling somewhere in that ballpark, again, depending on your price point, you're going to icon. So even if you're at, even if you're not quite icon status now or hitting those numbers, you're going to get there, because I always say if you can't do two and a half sales a month, you're really not doing this at a level that you should be doing it and where you can actually provide for a family. So it's not, this icon status isn't hundreds, 200 homes a year. We're talking about maybe 25, 30 homes a year, depending on your price point.
So let's break that down first before we dig into it, and then I'll go back to Chip a little bit. So I'm going to take Chip, you want to give your example? I mean, I could take my example too as well, and then we could show different examples.
In regards to how much production?
Yeah, how much production, how long would it take you as a price point to hit 16 cap and then 20 plus more transactions?
Yeah, sure. So our average price point is about 400,000. Obviously it ranges because we sell beach homes and they can get pretty elaborate. So, 400,000 price point, we're looking at maybe 6-7 sales that we've capped. Okay. So then once we've capped or hit about 2.6 million in actual sale volume, we've now capped. Now we just have to do 20 other units. That doesn't have to be $1 million homes. It could be $150,000 home, but 20 more transactions. And now you've established your icon status.
Yep. So here's what I want everybody to do that's watching this video. I want you to think about what your average sale price is for you, right? So I'm just going to use the math of 250,000. Okay. So I want you to take 2.666 million, right? 2.6666 million. And I want you to divide that by 250,000 or whatever your average sale price is. In that scenario, that's 10.6 homes. So let's say it's 11 homes. Okay. So pause this video, take 2.666 million, divided by your average sale price. And that's the number of homes that you have to sell on an average of 3% commission to earn, to cap. Then add 20 homes to that number. That's the number you individually have to hit in order to become an icon at eXp Realty and get your entire cap money back.
That's awesome. Thank you for that math, because I just did it real quickly. It's about 7 homes at $400,000 average price point. We have a lot of co-ops, 150, 200, and then obviously, you know, you could go up from there. And that's another 20 more homes that I have to sell. So total 27 homes in total, which I think, you know, any good
Two a
agent,
month.
yeah, 2 a month, any good agent could do.
Two
Now, and then I give that 16 grand that we gave to eXp, right? We're gonna get that back in stocks at the current trading value.
Wherever it's trading.
Right, awesome. So now, Chip, let's go back to you. 27, I'm going to use that example, 27 home you sold. You were Remax for 10 years. You were happy.
Yeah.
No reason to move, right?
No reason to move.
When we first approached you, Rummy, okay. we were David like, no, I'm happy, I'm good. But then you really dug down and you are a business owner, and then you really started looking at the math. What happened then?
Well, when I started peeling back the onion, you start realizing, well, if I had been doing this for the past 10 years, just apples to apples, $160,000 worth of equity or in a retirement fund for me to tap into at a future date. So we don't know where the stock price is going to go, but we do know where it's been and where it's come from too. So let's say, for instance, I was in the company 5 years ago, the stock was trading at 50 cents a share. Now it's at $8 a share. What did my equity just go to in that $16,000? How do you get that return?
You don't at any other brokerage. You just don't, right? Because what happens is the brokerage model is set up to they receive money from the agents when they sell a house, right? They use that money to pay their bills, to pay, you know, they have to take something in order to provide value to the agent. Office, staff, you know, printing, copier, electric, you know, all that stuff, right? So they use that to run their business, right? And I don't know of another brokerage on the planet Earth that will take that money that you paid in, and for top producing agents, 24, 20, 30 homes a year, whatever, and give that money back to you in the form of stock, right? So, you know, you have a 0% chance of your broker. Go to your broker now and say, hey, if I hit this level, I want you to give me the money back that I gave you. I want you to give it back to me for being a top producing agent.
Yeah.
When they do what Rummy's doing right now, which is laughing at you,
yeah,
then you need to literally open your eyes and know that this is real. You've got people like us that are receiving our entire $16,000 back, putting it into the stock market. I'd rather my brokerage put it into the stock market than put it into their electric bill and their rent bill and all that stuff, right? So at least now I have a chance. Now, some people will tell me, well, what if that goes to zero, David? Well, okay, it goes to zero. Then I don't get it back. But I guarantee I wasn't getting it back at my old brokerage because they were using it for lights and electricity and rent and copy machine and admin staff. I have a 0% chance of getting it back.
Yeah. Chip?
And you get a fancy trophy.
Oh, yeah, and you get a fancy trophy.
Well, I think the stock is worth a lot more. So David, let's talk about us as independent brokers. We were there before, and obviously we were at Keller Williams before too as well. I never got that at Keller Williams, right? And then let's talk about our independent broker. If somebody does approach us with that, you know, what I have to think about, well, wait a second, I gotta, like you just said, I gotta pay this, I gotta pay the admin, I gotta pay the assistant, I gotta pay the rent. I can't even afford you to pay all this stuff.
Yeah.
Even if you're a top agent, I can't keep you. Now think about that for a second. If somebody came to me and said, Rummy, I need you to give me the stocks. I'm like, damn, I can't do it. I cannot do it. So that is where I think a lot of the brokerages, a lot of the big teams are noticing, hey, wait a second, I'm going to lose these top agents, right? Either the mom pops independent brokerage needs to open their eye up. So I mean, when that hit me, I was like, okay. My agents literally told me, Rummy, eventually we would have left. Eventually we would have left because I was smart enough to approach that model to them in the very beginning.
Yeah.
And then, you know, grow this, guys. We're going through some tough times right now. Tough times. And, you know, everybody is, and everybody's thinking about their family. For me, my family is important, just like everybody else's family is important. And I'm the breadwinner in the house. So it's like, you know, I got something set up. Right now, it's about $40,000, $50,000 in stocks. I don't trade. I do not trade. Just to let you know, I don't trade. I'm not a day trader. That's not my thing. But here's one cushion. Here's a second cushion. Here's my real estate company that's producing something. So talk about that a little bit too as well. Chip?
Well, I think the fact that you're adding towards your retirement fund without doing other than what you've been doing for your career. I mean, I'm still going out and selling homes. I'm still in production. I'd rather than getting fancy trophies, I'd rather get equity in a company that I know is growing tenfold. I mean, from the time I joined the company to where it is now, they've probably added 10,000 agents. And that's only been in a year.
Yeah.
So just think as that snowball continues to gather steam rolling down the hill and gather more and more snow around it, and this thing keeps getting bigger and bigger, where do you think that stock price now is going to be 10, 15, 20 years down the road when I'm looking to tap into that retirement that I've just done for only production? So $16,000 times 10, $160,000 in stock that the company has given back to me in my own cap. Where does that money go to? Even if it stays where it's at, it's $160,000 that I didn't have yesterday.
Yeah. And what if the stocks go to zero? The the company says, oh, we can't do it. First of all, we are very strong against Realty and all this other, I already looked at their stocks every single day. But what if that happened, guys? What if that does happen? Let's take the worst case scenario out of that.
Here's what you do. Worst case scenario, you go back to you either you and I open our brokerage back. Chip either opens up his own brokerage or he goes back to Remax, whatever he chooses to do, right? And we're still better off for it because we still paid less to this brokerage eXp than we would have. Chip, how much money did you pay to Remax in a year at your current production versus how much you're going to pay eXp for that year during the same production? You're saving money, correct?
That's correct. So with Remax, with our desk fees and what we were sharing with the company in commission splits, we were paying anywhere between $50,000 and $60,000 a year. So just think, dollar for dollar, I've just given myself a raise by $50,000 to $60,000 just by moving brokerages. So on top of that, now I have an 80-20 split. I make my cap in first 2 months, thank God. Now I'm working towards Icon. Now I'm getting my $16,000 back in company stock. I mean, even if you're looking at where the stock is today, and most investors will tell you, or traders will tell you, you put a stop limit on it, right? So if the stock's trading at 8, maybe I want to cap it at 5. So even if it ever drops, I'm not going to sell for less. I'm not going to sell it less than $5. I'm still not going to lose. That's your stock.
And our the first quarter earning came out really strong too as well. So, and for me, when I was at Keller Williams, it was like $90,000 in expenses that I was paying. $90,000 with my team. I mean, I have a bigger cap over here, and I know that David had a lower cap. It was kind of different. I mean, we all have one cap system. David, even wherever he is, even if he was selling $200,000, he's still $16,000. If I'm selling $500,000 houses, we are all in the same boat right here. So that's really important too, as well. Because I know David was at Keller, and then he was getting $25,000 cap, and I was like $30,000. I'm like, why the big difference right there? And that's the beauty about the cloud brokerage and the virtual brokerage too, as well. So
no franchise fee. People always forget about the franchise fee that they're paying with these companies. We don't have franchise. People will constantly tell me, well, David, I'm already on a 90-10 split. Why would I switch? And I'm like, well, wait a minute. Oh, I forgot. Wait, you don't have to pay the 6% franchise fee to Coldwell Banker or to Berkshire Hathaway or to wherever. And they're like, well, yeah, I mean, I've got to pay that. I'm like, then you're not on a 90-10 split. You have to have a calculator that functions to know that you're not on. If a $10,000 commission check comes in, you don't get $9,000. They take 6%, then they take 10%. And they do that forever. Mm-hmm. Here, they're only going to, yes, they're taking 20. So yes, in that scenario I gave you, they're taking 4% more. But after about, depends on your number, after about 5 or 6, they stop. Now you're getting 100%. So it amazes me how many times I've sit down with agents and used my phone as a calculator and gone over their business and showed them that they paid. There was one agent, I'm at 100% place. David, I'm at 100% place. They paid $63,000 in fees.
Yeah. I'm
like, you can keep calling it 100% all you want, but you're just being tricked into it. It's not 100%. You're still paying something. And here, yes, you're going to pay 20%. So yes, those first 6 sales, it's going to kind of suck because you're used to getting 100%, or, you know, they had transfer fees, they had 6% franchise fee, they had a transaction fee, right? So they were probably paying about 8, maybe not, call it 10% just for easy math, right? So yes, those first 6 sales, you're going to get 10% more deducted. And yeah, it might sting a little bit. But after that, whoo, smooth sailing, baby. It's all about how much am I paying into my brokerage versus how much would I pay into that brokerage. And then how much value am I getting from that brokerage and how much value am I getting from that brokerage? I've literally told people, if you're paying $75,000 a year to your brokerage and you're getting $75,000 worth of value, stay put. Stay. It's not about how much you pay to an extent. It's also about how much you receive in value. And the one thing I like about the Icon is we are forced, right, to be Icon. Well, I mean, not to be icons. Once we hit the Icon status, we have to give back to the brokerage. So you now, as you're working your way up to become Icon status, you've already got Icon people that are required to help you try to get to where you need to be. So the value that you're getting from eXp is insane. You're just not, and you're paying less.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. I'm just
No. That's great. I mean, the thing is, I mean, why is it, David, that a lot of people don't look at the math? I mean, yesterday you and I spoke and we were like, here's your transaction. Where's my transaction? I mean, I'm looking at it every week, where we're at, where we are not. A lot of the agents are not trained in their industry to say, what am I paying out? What is the value that I'm getting back? They're not trained. And also, I think we could kind of piggyback on, I'm loyal to my brokerage. I mean, who are you loyal to first? I think that's the first question.
The people that live under your roof, that's who you're loyal to first. So the reason I think that agents don't know their numbers is because they're employees, they're not business owners. True. They have an employee mindset. I hate it when somebody says, I work for Keller Williams, I work for Remax, I work for Berkshire Hathaway, I work for blank. No. I say it all the time. No. They work for you. They work for you. So one, stop saying that, because they just have this employee mindset, and employees don't look at what they're given the brokerage. You are a business owner. I don't care if you've sold 1 house or 10,000 houses. If you're in the real estate business to make money, you're a business owner, and you need to run it like a business, which means you need to know what's going out, and you need to know what value you're getting for that money.
And that dovetails on to tracking your business, tracking where it's coming from. Yeah. Like, for instance, if we had not tracked our numbers for the 10 years we were at Remax, we wouldn't have realized that most of our business was coming from the lead generation that we were paying for as a team, not Remax, the brand, bringing us business.
Yeah.
So when you look at it, it's like, where is that return coming from? Like David said, is it self-generated from the team? Is it my door knocking efforts? Is it my prospecting efforts? Is it the things that I am doing to be productive? And if I'm not tracking where that business is coming from, how do I know what value my brokerage is bringing to me?
Wow, that's powerful right there.
And then when you track your numbers, you start to realize, like I did, for 10 years of production, I would have Icon for 10 years. How does this brokerage not make sense to partner with? Because that's basically what you're doing, is you're partnering with eXp for this opportunity to meld together with all these other icons. And then we can even jump forward as we all want to expand into different marketplaces. Now we're not paying several different franchise fees. We're not paying different brokers to be in business with if we're going across state lines. We're still under one company. Yes.
We're not paying different caps, right? We still have
one.
It's just one.
Yeah.
It's
it's important to really, I think, especially now, because we all, and in New York, a lot of people are just sitting home and looking at the numbers and thinking outside the box. And, you really need to start digging into your business. And I think if you take this video and kind of replay this 2 or 3 times and really look at, agents that are doing anything from 30 million to, David, I think you did 100 million last year, 120. So, I mean, you're getting some real data. This is not us for you to say, oh, come to eXp. All we are encouraging you to do, what David said, take 2.6666 million, divide that with your price point. Okay, it took me 7 deals to give $16,000 to eXp, another 20 more deals, right, to Icon, and I get that back in stocks, and I stash that away in the stock market and let that grow. We didn't even talk about that. I mean, we really didn't dig into that. Let that grow into maybe 10, 20, 30, because that's what stock market is, right? Return on investments. Well, that 16 grand that I get back this year, now that 16 grand is worth $30,000 in the next 2, 3 years or 4 years or 5 years. And you let that go, and that will be a nest for you and your family. My kids I got 3 kids, gotta put them to college. Hey, let's grab that out of that, right? Many different ways you could do that. Chip and David, last words, what you encourage people to do right now. And Chip, I have a lot of RE/MAX people, especially in New York right now, saying, oh, it doesn't make sense. How did it make sense to you?
As far as the eXp model?
Yeah, from RE/MAX to, and I know you said it.
I can tell you this, RE/MAX was a fantastic company. One of the things that it did not do very well in its business model is it didn't really allow for growth of a team. So in other words, most RE/MAXs are ran where you have a desk fee, particularly if you're at a higher split. So just think, if I bring on 5 new people, I've just increased my expenses 5-fold. Okay. So every time I added a team member, the franchise charged me more money. And if that person wasn't productive, it cost me on my bottom line. Mm-hmm. So you can hear what I'm saying is that it didn't allow for us to have a growth mindset because we were hampered by what RE/MAX was restraining us as far as a business owner and what it would cost me to take a gamble or to try to train somebody and bring them up to a level. So with eXp, now they can come under my team. They can work on a half cap or not a full cap to get going. Then once they get to a full cap, now we start talking about taking them off the team, having them do 100%. So now they can Icon. So there's ways to work people up in this business model, where in the RE/MAX business model, it just didn't work. It didn't make sense.
That was important. So you're encouraging your agents in your team to say, hey, let's get you up to $16,000 cap. Right now they're at 8 under you. But once they start doing enough production, let's get you out of the 8 cap to 16, so that way you could Icon.
Correct.
I mean, that's value added right there for your team member that will take that away and say, hey, listen, I'm going to stick with the team or stick with eXp or whatever it might be. So that's really, really important, because I think we all, especially me, I get team members come in and they leave, right? Team members come in, that was happening. I will train them, I will get them going, and guess what? They're leaving. And all that effort and energy was wasted, no return on investment was considered as for me in the long term. Now I could bring them in. Doesn't matter if they're my team members or in eXp. I want them to either build a team, become an icon status, and say, hey, stick with eXp because the value is still there. For the long term, a lot of people think short term. Let's think about long term right now, especially over the next 10 years, what's happening right now. Think about the long term, so that way you can step away from the business and let the business run for yourself.
What do you think that'll do to our stock price, just from an eXp stock price perspective, if every one of us built 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 team members to now icons? Look at the production level that we've just increased, and the bottom line. We're already a profitable company as it is. Just imagine adding more talent and bringing more talent to the surface.
And that's why, David came in, I came in, you came in, because you've seen the value, right? We have to make sure that we do the numbers correctly. We see the value, not just for short term, because everybody's thinking, per deal. I think I was having a conversation with one of my agents. She's like, oh, they're just thinking short. They're just thinking short. But I'm thinking long term, like long term. And I was like, that's awesome.
That's employee mindset versus business owner mindset. It's just, we have to teach people to flip the switch. And to be honest with you guys, listen, I think, when we first all met, 2011, 2012, somewhere in that ballpark, whatever it was, I kind of had a little bit of that employee mindset, right? I was flipping the switch a little bit, but I wasn't numbers driven. And by meeting you guys and you guys forcing me to look at numbers, now I'm numbers crazy. I probably know my numbers better than most of you guys because I finally saw value in it. But what it has done is it has helped me grow my business.
Yeah.
Right. And if it wouldn't have been for somebody like you guys making fun of me and forcing me to know my numbers, I might not be where I'm at. So, I mean, it takes being around people that are going to encourage you and help you individually to think differently and grow.
Right. So we're going to end this, guys. Any last words? Good?
All right. I mean, David just hit it with the collaboration in this company. It's not only just the 3 of us. Just think of all the talent that has matriculated to eXp, and it's found in the world. It's found in the training. It's found when we get together and shareholders in the eXp con. It's a society that's been built from this business model, but look at the sharing and the collaboration that goes on. It's amazing because not everyone benefits from it. That's what's so cool.
That's it.
Yeah, I wanna say one thing which happened to me recently. I'm in the commercial side of the eXp workplace, and there's an individual that came on. He talks about 1030 exchange. He found a model where I don't know if a lot of people don't know 1030 exchange. You have to you sell a $10 million building. You got to go find a building for $10 million within 45 to almost 3 months. You have to identify that, or you're going to have to pay capital gain. This individual broke the whole model down where you don't have to do that. And I was just amazed. I emailed him. He emailed me back. We're going back and forth. I'm adding value for a $10 million individual that they're going to come to me, which I didn't know before. He broke that model down, and I'm like, wow. For me, that's worth what you said, value. I never had that. Nobody was teaching that to me. I couldn't go different places. Nobody wanted to teach that, right? Because that's their emanation. This individual put webinars. He's doing webinars almost once a month on this stuff. Really, really unique stuff. And that's the value that I'm getting, which now I'm like, wow, that's bar on the best. So leaving it at that point, guys, I encourage you, look at your business, especially top producers, brokers, independent brokers, franchises. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, look at your business, look at this model, look at the icon status, right? Even if you have a team or not, reach to any of us. We would love to sit down with you and just help you break down the numbers. If you could break down the numbers and you could convince us, I said it yesterday, if somebody could convince me there's a better company out there, please let me know right now. I will personally move. I will do it. But I know nothing out there. And we are always, we're pretty smart. We are in the industry. So I encourage you to do that. Reach out to David, reach out to Chip, reach out to me. We're here to help you out. And thank you for that.
Yep. No worries, guys.
Be advised that the topics and contents discussed in this podcast are opinions intended as general information based on personal accounts and experiences by the hosts Rummy Dhanoa, David Upchurch and their guests. We recommend that listeners seek professional advice or research before making a business decision. This podcast is produced separately and independently from eXp Realty and is not sponsored or funded by eXp Realty.